for sure.
Yeah, I think it's different when you actually have to live there and
True.
do it. I mean, I know all of us probably made our way out there. And I think by extension, we felt like it was our community. Just because we didn't live there, we felt like we, had a lot invested there, and the people that we knew there. But I think there's definitely, reading, because I'd been there and seen the devastation and done some work, that I felt like I can understand the devastation. Reading it in your book, really, it was like, whoa, this is a whole other level of fear of mortality, of like, just, nature acts so quick, right? Like when something passes through it, when you look at it in retrospect, it's like, oh, it was only like whatever, 30 minutes or an hour, a few hours or 24 hours even. But when you're in it, it's like this.
Yeah.
Things can change and get bad at an instant. Like you said, even walking before the poll came out, there was like, things.
I had no idea what I was
Holy
getting
moly.
into.
Like you could have just stepped
No
into the
idea.
water
Yeah.
thinking you could just walk 3 steps in that direction and then boom,
sucked
a
into
garbage
the
can
bay.
hits you or whatever.
Yep.
And so I think there is definitely, I definitely appreciated the stories of the Rockaway locals and what you had to endure and how you all helped each other to, be there 24 hours, without electricity.
How many people do you think moved out to Rockaway, though, after Sandy? I know. I feel like there was a lot of people who came to help and then were like, oh, my God, we need to be out here almost.
Yeah, I can't say for sure. I have no way to know numbers, but certainly there have been people, moving out because, there's been tons of real estate activity, prices are going up.
And COVID, too, has probably changed that with everyone working from home.
Well, and it seems like everybody decided to learn to surf during COVID, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Here comes the saltiness coming. All these people show up in my break. I gotta get hard on them now. Teach them some etiquette.
I survived Sandy and they come out of COVID.
Yeah.
They didn't earn it.
It's definitely, it just feels livelier, right?
Yeah.
Like way more people.
So much going on.
Yeah.
The
A lot
hotel.
going on. The
My
hotel.
God.
Yeah.
The
hotel.
fancy schmancy hotel.
The fancy hotel. It's nice.
That is
They had a
very
PS1 warm-up session there on Sunday.
God.
They
I
did.
wanted to go. It was rainy and I was exhausted, but it's happening at Rockaway. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How fun is
Jeez.
that?
Yeah.
But also, like, oh boy.
What are your thoughts on that? Like on Rockaway and its current development trajectory. Now that there's a huge plot of land, in the 50s that have been bought, and looks like that's going to get
God.
developed. It seems like there's
a lot of activity.
Yeah.
I guess I am of at least 2 minds on it. Possibly more. But, in some ways it's great, right?
Yeah.
That kind of attention and activity and investment, brings services, and that's a good thing. That's something that the peninsula has not had. At the same time, it brings prices up and pushes some people out, and I think, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I think it's like any kind of development. I will say that what is good about at least some of it is that it is people who have been in the community for a long time, who have invested in the community, who are part of the community and understand it. But, is it really, I don't know. I guess I don't think I have anything else to say.
all right. What do you think about all the new jetties that are going to get built?
Oh, I think that's great.
So
Are
excited.
I think
they?
that's fantastic. Yeah.
Wow.
My neighbor
that's
is running that project.
Really?
Dan Fault from
That's
the
kind of
Army Corps.
exciting.
Lives right next door to me.
Can we convince Dan to get maybe a couple Weber wave reefs? They're like these artificial surf reefs Greg Weber, surfboard shaper in Australia, had developed that are kind of these floating reefs that you can create a boardwalk on and creates a safe swimming area. And they create a right and a left. And
I'll mention that.
and
to
they
him.
have shark nets that go around them.
I will have to mention that. to him.
Yeah, let me know, because that would be an incredible resource, and of course more surfing beaches.
Right.
Do shark nets actually work?
It would, because it fits inside it fits around the reef, the break, the artificial
I see.
break.
Got
It's
it.
this really cool V-shaped reef. That's really. I'll show you after.
Very
For our
I'm
listeners.
sorry, I
who
cut
can
you
follow.
off.
Sorry.
You were gonna say.
I don't
Oh
remember.
no.
Oh
What was
no.
I going to say? It was something
About building that thing.
Oh, the jetties.
Yeah.
The jetties. So I just remember the morning after Sandy, right, walking to what was the boardwalk
Wow,
and seeing
yeah.
that crazy Stonehenge and all of
Yes.
And literally you could see that where there was a jetty,
Oh my goodness.
like at the start of the jetty, that like the boardwalk was largely intact
Yep.
from there down.
right.
And from there up, where there were no jetties, was all disaster.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those those houses that were ripped apart
Right.
uptown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it was just so I was like, okay, so why are we even debating whether jetties help
Right.
or don't?
Right.
We can see
Right.
right here
Yeah.
that they do. So I'm very excited to see those jetties come in.
Well, it's interesting because it's the down effect that the jetties have and what effects they may have downstream,
Right,
right?
right.
Like that's the other thing, because you could go then down to Reese Park where some of the jetties get spread out and then it's
Right.
breezy, doesn't really have as much,
Right.
and so it's always a complicated thing when
Right.
you start messing with Mother Nature,
Yep.
because the changes you make, like the new jetties that are over down by the 30s, even right now, you can kind of see a difference in the sand down, uptown now, and how the waves are
Right.
breaking.
Right.
And I think there's a little bit of a result from that
Right.
that we're not aware of.
Right.
So it's always a
I know
catch-22,
it's complicated,
right? Yeah.
but I think but I think just seeing
But it will give us a lot of good
it will
surf
give us
rates.
a lot of good surf.
So what is your goal now as a surfer, and at the level that you're at? Like, do you have a goal? Do you have are you just like, I feel like as New Yorkers, we don't just like we have like some quiet ambitions sometimes. Like, do you have any quiet ambitions in terms of your surfing and like what like breaks that you might want to be able to serve? Or
I guess I would like to get to a point where I feel less afraid of anything above my waist, right? Like I'm kind of like knee to waist high. I'm happy, and anything bigger, I seize up, and I would really like to get beyond that. So that's a big goal, and I think I can get there.
Yeah.
But it just means like going out more, So I'd like to push my comfort zone a little.
Just fall on the first wave of Big Day. It's what Shane Dorian Brock Little always do. You
It's
fall on
true,
that
yeah.
first wave, and then you
Yep.
survive,
And then you
you're
survive,
like,
and then you're fine.
yeah,
Okay.
and it wakes you up too.
Yeah.
that too.
That too.
That too.
That's that. Okay, I'll try that.
It's that, or you go in a pool and you have friends like beat you around with baseball bats, and that gets you like kind of acclimated to
There
feeling
you
really
go.
rough and tumble.
There you go. Where did that come from?
Big wave training with Tyler
Big
Brewer.
wave training. Thank you.
Get the baseball bats out, guys.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
And on that note,
No.
do you have anything else? You
I was
going
gonna
to
ask what board are you riding right now?
Oh, yeah.
What's in your quiver?
Well, so right now I am riding a 9-foot Odyssey plank,
Ooh.
which is a soft top.
Yes.
But it's a single fin, and it's like a log, but it's a single fin that takes that with a standard
Proper
fin
fin,
box,
yeah.
so I can put a real fin in it.
It's the catch surfboards.
The catch surf, yeah.
Which are really nice.
It's really fun, and during the summer, I generally don't take a hardboard into the water because it is just too crowded. I don't have perfect control over my board all the time, and I would rather not really damage somebody else.
Fair enough.
And I also don't want someone like messing up, a really like one of my precious hardboards, which are not that precious, right? I mean, I don't really have any precious boards. So, one. I have one. It's like a 1968 Hansen
What?
50/50.
Oh, wow.
No
Yes.
way.
Wait, you also mentioned
Shut the
Stewart
front door.
in the book.
Can we just geek out on that for a
Yeah,
second?
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
where did you find that?
I found that on Craigslist
Oh, I love
in California,
it.
in
Oh,
San
yeah.
Diego,
Uh-huh.
and bought it.
Is this the one that you wrapped?
No.
on
Yes.
the side of the road?
It's not the one that I wrote about in
Okay.
Wrapping by the Side of the Road, but this is one that I did the same thing. I was like, well, what do I do? So I wrapped it in so much bubble wrap and tape and took the fin off, but and got it home in pretty good shape.
Bless you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I don't ride that board anymore because
It's too scary to ride around people.
well, one, it's too scary to ride around people, but it's heavy and
Yeah.
big, and I have injured myself with that board. Right, I actually broke my shoulder
Oh, Jesus.
trying to hold on to that board with like backwash coming under because I didn't want to let it go.
Oh, my God.
Because I thought it might hit somebody, and so I broke my shoulder.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
You need like sweet Sano waves for that. Like,
yeah,
on a sweet day.
yeah, yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
or
New York beach break.
Just
gnarly.
somewhere far away from people, you know?
Oh yeah, Sano would not be good for that.
Yeah, but I do love that board, and I will ride it someday again when I'm feeling a little more confident.
Yeah.
And will you be doing any surf trips in the near future?
Not in the near future, I don't think. I really want to go back to surf camp, but I think I want to try Surf with Amigas because everyone is always telling me how much they have loved it.
But the Surf Simply crew is,
Oh my God, they're
first I love their
amazing.
podcast.
The
and
podcasts
I
are
didn't know they did
great.
one.
awesome. And
Podcasts, the online tutorials that
So
they
good.
do
Oh, wow.
are really, really good.
And I
Okay.
love how they teach you and train you, and
Yep.
there's a debrief and all this
No,
stuff.
they're
It's
great.
really thorough.
They're great. They're great. But yeah, I think oh no, that's not true. So yes, we might be going to California
Nice.
in a couple months, Santa Barbara, because
Nice.
Todd wants to go to a basketball camp thing there. So while he is doing his basketball business,
Sweet. Surf the queen of the coastline right
so,
there.
yeah. So that would
Right
that would
on.
be
That would be
my-
nice.
yes, but I
Regular
need
folk.
somebody to like help me. Right, I need a friend to
Well,
take
that's
me
what
into
I
that.
wanna ask
right,
you.
It seems like it would be a bit, full on.
yeah, like you need a guide to a break like
let's
that.
call Tom
I
Curran
think.
up. And
Yo, Tom.
Tom, let's do
Yeah,
Show me.
a guide, if not
this. You could
for
say
anything.
you're writing a piece for the New York Times or something.
If not for anything, just to give you a spot, a space.
Right.
Well, do you use your guise of being a journalist
Your
to
guise.
break? Well, no, you could use it as a guise to break into certain lineups and get certain people to take you.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You
Because
should. I would. I would.
what I tend to do is I take a lesson.
Yeah.
So I find, whatever the local, well-regarded instructor, surf
Mm-hmm.
shop, whatever, and take a lesson because that way I have an organized structure to learn the break.
Well, just don't do that one surf school with the QAnon believer. That was
Oh,
just
Yeah, no.
God.
No,
Yeesh.
no.
I haven't heard about
Have to
that,
stay
but
away from that
I
one.
don't think I need to know. I mean, I noticed in the book that you have, there's always this return to a lesson. Like you felt like you couldn't access it unless you did it through a
Right,
lesson.
right.
At a certain point, does it ever feel like a crutch, or do you feel like it's important to your growth, or like what do you get out of it? And like for someone who's a beginner, like would you recommend lessons, or for what purpose and for how long?
Yeah. So I think I still take lessons from time to time. So anytime I go to a new break, right? If I feel like I want someone who knows it to
Right.
introduce me to
Right.
it. Like if I don't have a friend that I could go with, I will do that. And also I'm always in need of more instruction, right? I don't see anything
Always room for improvement.
wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
I do think that lessons did become a crutch for me and kept me from being able to kind of go out on my own, in part because I spent a long time just letting somebody tell me when to go and not looking back at the wave. So it took me longer, I think, to kind of figure out how to judge entries and that kind of thing. But I think lessons are great. I think there's so much to learn in surfing,
So much.
right?
Endless.
So much.
Endless,
Always.
And so I think let somebody help demystify that for you. But I do think it's important to also go out on your own and
Right.
make your own mistakes. But, you know, I also do think it's important to learn the etiquette and follow it.
Yeah.
So, because I am seeing a lot of that in Rockaway these days, right?
Well, I mean,
People who just don't know.
Right.
well, there's certain people who are renting boards and without instructions. And I
Right.
think that's a real
Right.
issue. And I actually encouraged our former guest, Yuri, to create like instructional videos. And I told him to have these people then send them to the YouTube channel so that they can learn
Right.
the etiquette and
Right.
stuff. I also don't understand why we still don't have an etiquette sign up
Poster.
at all the
Yep.
different beach breaks,
Yep.
all the breaks.
Yep.
Just seems like a natural thing
Yep.
to